What's up, everybody? It's my first YouTube video, so it's probably gonna be crappy quality, probably gonna be the worst video you've ever seen, but thank you for watching. I'm gonna be covering my WrestleMania predictions. I do have on TikTok where I'm gonna post a shorter version of this video, but right now we're gonna cover the full WrestleMania card, and on TikTok I'll be doing like a more of a smaller, quicker version, but on here I just wanna test it out and kind of give my thoughts on how I think these matches will go, if I wanna add any extra details. So let's jump right in. First match of WrestleMania weekend, well, what's on card for the first match of the WrestleMania weekend is the GOAT, Dirty Dom, and Santos Escobar versus the other GOAT, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee. Should be a really good match, back and forward. You're going to see a lot of high flying. My dog is trying to get my attention. Horrible YouTuber. It's going to be a good match. They're really trying to make Santos Escobar a top-level heel, and what better way to make him a top-level heel than to team him up with Dirty Dom. And it should be a really good matchup. I do see Dominic Mysterio picking up the win and pinning his dad. Kind of payback from last year, and I feel like they're really going to build off of that. Next matchup, we got the 6-women tag match between Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair versus Damage Control. This match feels like it was just kind of thrown together to give something for Damage Control to do. And Asuka, apparently she's dealing with an injury, so they don't want her working a match on her own. And it's a good way to get Jade Cargill on the show as well as Naomi. So it's going to be a good match, and I honestly think Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi, they're taking this match. It shouldn't be a question. So right after that, we actually have the match that's probably going to steal the show on night one. We had the 6-pack tag team match between all these wrestlers, all these tag teams. They kind of made an emphasis that the match will only end when both sets of titles are pulled down. So with that being said, I see Awesome Truth winning this match. They're going to, R-Truth the way he is. He's going to pull down the Raw tag team titles and completely forget about the SmackDown tag team titles. And as for the SmackDown side, I honestly would like to see the New Catch Republic win the belts. I think it will give something good for Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne to do, and kind of get away from them to be more on the show and more showcase their skills before they eventually do break off to do their own singles thing. I honestly do think that the Judgment Day are going to have kind of a tumultuous night. Tumultuous? Is that a word? Tumultuous? But I do think it's going to be the Awesome Truth and the New Catch Republic. Now, the next matchup is we have Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. And one thing about this feud is it's didn't need a big build, but WWE hasn't really been building it because they've been focusing so much on the Bloodline storyline that I feel like they almost neglected this match. But it should still be a good match. Both brothers, they can wrestle. They're high flyers. They have high impacting moves. Unfortunately, I feel like this should have been Bloodline rules or some kind of street fight just to add some extra stuff to it, because I feel like a straight-up singles match without the proper build is kind of going to suffer a little. But I do have Jey Uso winning this match. So next matchup, and here's my kind of hot take, my crazy take for the weekend. It's going to be Gunther versus Sami Zayn. So obviously WrestleMania is in Philadelphia, Rocky movies and all that. I honestly feel like they're going to take a page out of the Rocky movie. Gunther's going to destroy Sami Zayn. It's going to be like, I wouldn't say a squash, but he's going to pulverize him to a pulp. And then you're going to have Chad Gable, because Chad Gable deserves this. You're going to have Chad Gable throwing the towel for Sami. Sami's going to be quote-unquote injured and can't continue the match. And Gunther's going to retain. So that's the first part. Gunther will retain. Now, I think that's going to lead to night 2, where Chad Gable's actually going to challenge Gunther. And Gunther feeling, unstoppable the way he is. We're going to get Gunther versus Chad Gable on night 2. That's my hot take. And if that happens, I do think Chad will win, because there's no point of Gunther doing 2 matches and destroying 2 opponents over the weekend. Personally, that's what I think is going to happen. I feel like that's what a lot of fans want to happen too, just because it really feels like it should have been Gunther versus Chad versus Gunther versus Sami. No hate to Sami, but I just feel like it should be Chad. We all want Chad Gable to win. So give me that. Gunther wins on night 1. Chad Gable challenges on night 2. And then we have Chad Gable, the new Intercontinental Champion. After that match, we have Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. And this match I'm really excited for, because you have a megastar in Rhea Ripley. You have a megastar in Becky Lynch. And they're just going to go out, and it should be a great match. There's no right or wrong winner for this match. Honestly, I could see any point of view why Rhea should win or why Becky should win. But in my opinion, I think Rhea's going to win. Only because if you look back on the people she's defended the belt and who she's really beaten, there's not that many megastar power that she's beating. Like, besides Charlotte, Nia Jax? Nia Jax ain't like a crazy wrestler, to give her a good boost. Natalya, I think, was her first offense. I mean, what do you do there? And no disrespect to Zelina Vega, because I think she's awesome, but after the Puerto Rico match, I feel like there wasn't no real big fight feel. Aside from the Elimination Chamber in Australia, it was a big pop, but I feel like she had to carry Nia Jax on that match. So with the way the women's division is right now, there's so many stars that she could battle with, especially if they do a draft after WrestleMania. You could have her go against Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. You could have her a rematch against Charlotte. There's lots of possibilities. So with that being said, I think Rhea is going to win because I think they're going to want to push her more to the moon more than she already is. And Becky's already a star. She doesn't really need another title, to kind of elevate her career. We have the main event for night one. So this one kind of has me really conflicted because I feel like if Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins win night one, that's not going to bode well because I don't think WWE will have the bloodline straight loose across the board on both main events, but they could. I could see it happening where Rock takes the pin night one, which eventually leads to, tension, and then you could build the Roman versus Rock match next year at WrestleMania. But let's not get too crazy because I already did my hot take for the day. It has to be The Rock and Roman. Rock's back. He's going to obviously win the match. And they really want to push these bloodline rules for the next day's main event. So I have Roman and Rock winning. I can actually see The Rock pinning Cody, which probably will be a dumb decision to do just before the main event. But just the way they're building this up and, hopefully if all things go the way I want it to go, Cody will eventually leave WrestleMania on top of the world. Now we have a good old-fashioned Philadelphia street fight between the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross and the AOP. Not really much to say about this match. This is basically like their showcase match from last year where everyone just gets a spot. However, I do see Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits picking up the win. Puppets. It's been a long day. But Street Profits, Bobby Lashley will win. Up next is LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Now, a lot of people are upset because they wanted more for LA Knight. Personally, I'm one of those people who I kind of want LA Knight to do a bit more, but there was no real room for him in the world title scene. There was no real room for him in the bloodline scene. We've seen that already. And the United States Intercontinental Championship, it really didn't fit him at the time. But this rivalry that they built between AJ Styles and LA Knight is freaking awesome. Like, they're driving to each other's houses. It kind of reminds me when Triple H went to Randy Orton's house and broke in and potentially committed so many crimes. But besides the point, it's pretty well built. It's just gonna be a classic, good, fun wrestling match. And give me LA Knight to win because he has a lot more to gain from this than AJ Styles will. Because AJ Styles, you can put him in the main event scene no matter when, and it's just gonna work for him. LA Knight, he needs like a little bit more to kind of put him up there and keep him in that main event scene, which they really need to pull the trigger with LA Knight soon because, he's not as young as people think he is. No disrespect to his age. Next up, we have the triple threat for the United States title, where it's going to be Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, and Randy Orton. I'm just going to come out and say Logan Paul should win. He literally he's been doing so much with that belt, and I just think his arrogance and his bratty attitude makes it so much better to watch. He's like a classic old school heel that you would see when I was growing up watching wrestling during the Ruthless Aggression era. He's one of those classic heels. But I do see a crazy spot. Either Kevin Owens going to jump off something really high, or Randy Orton's going to hit the craziest RKO we've seen to date. Maybe both. But I think it's going to eventually end with, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, they're going to be double teaming Paul, kicking his ass, because that's what they've been doing. My ears started ringing. Someone's talking shit about me. But it's going to end with Logan Paul getting one of them from behind, brass knucks, right hook. And that's it. I feel like Kevin Owens would probably be more likely the one to take the pin. We got Io Sky versus Bayley. And it is for the women's world title or women's WWE title. The one that looks like the Universal belt. My biggest issue with this one, it should be a great match. But I feel like they didn't build up this story as well as they should. I feel like they've been keeping Bayley and Io really far apart on TV, which is a shame because, they're really good. They're really talented and they could have help build this match a bit more. I just feel like this, out of all the championship matches, it's kind of been on the back burner, which is really a shame because it's a good story. It's mentor versus student betrays mentor. It's a really good story that they could have done a lot with, but unfortunately, with so little time and everything, it just wasn't meant to be. But I do think Bayley should win it. Bayley deserves a title reign after everything she's done. She's won the Rumble. She kind of carried the women's division for a while. She's carried Damage Control for a while, and I think it's perfect timing for her to become champion again. And then you could get some more storylines out of that as well. All right, now for the World Heavyweight title, we got Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. And I really wanted to see Seth versus Punk, which he will be on commentary, which should be freaking amazing. But something that I didn't like about this at first, it almost felt like Drew was the consolation. And then with Seth being involved with the Bloodline storyline and everything, I just really felt like the world title was almost like a second fiddle, which we all do know it's not the main championship, the Universal title is. But Drew's been carrying this damn rivalry, this damn story so well on his own, where I'm really interested in this one. I really can't wait to see how it is. And, you know, Seth is actually going to wrestle the night before, so he's going to be pretty beat up, battered. It's a perfect opportunity to have Drew become the champion again and finally get to win the title in front of a live audience at WrestleMania. And Drew's not really like a heel in this storyline. He kind of gives me like anti-hero, badass vibes, you know, kind of how Stone Cold used to do, or CM Punk before he turned complete heel back in 2008. I just think he definitely deserves it. But, and here's where it comes in, I do think we will see a cash-in at this match. Rumor is, and I don't know if it's true, that Drew's supposed to take some time off of WrestleMania. I don't know if it's true or not anymore because this was during his whole contract dispute and everything. If there's a cash-in, unfortunately, I do think it's going to be a failed cash-in. And because there's not much, you can't take the moment from Seth or Drew at this point. So I do predict we might have a cash-in during this match. But if all goes the way I think it's going to go, Drew should win. And then Drew should also beat Damian Priest in the cash-in. That's just what I think. Because you got to do something with that damn Money in the Bank briefcase at this point. Now for the main event in Bloodline Rules, we have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. I am a Cody crybaby, so let's get that out of the way. Last year, I felt like Cody should have won it. There was no real reason to extend the Roman Reigns title reign aside from the 1,000 days. And before everyone comes at me, because I know there's a lot of Roman Reigns fans, all of a sudden, where were you guys years ago? But it's time for Cody to become the champion and lead WWE going forward. Roman's done a great job. Well, he's never been around. But he's done a really good job as champion. He's had a historical reign. The Bloodline storyline has been going on for years. And I think it's all going to culminate with Rock versus Roman next year at WrestleMania 41, which doesn't need the belt. That rivalry does not need the belt. It should be for the tribal chief status or whatever. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to have a hell of a match. We're going to have every freaking run-in you can think about. So you're going to have Seth running in. You're going to have Jimmy. You're going to have Solo. You might see Paul Heyman get involved. Obviously, The Rock's going to run in. And, you know, we're just going to have a big old clusterfuck of, like, wrestlers everywhere. And rumor is, because he posted on TikTok, Stone Cold looks like he's being coerced to be on Cody's side. So it should be a great match. Should probably be one of the best WrestleMania main events. And Cody should definitely win it. Please, my birthday weekend, please win. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think Cody's going to officially finish the story and become the champion we all been wanting for a while. And it's just going to be such a huge momentous moment in wrestling history because we don't know what's it like for like Roman to lose the title. It's going to be insane. Like, you know, I wouldn't want to say it's like equivalent to the streak being ended, but it's going to be pretty damn close. And I have Cody Rhodes being the new WWE Universal Champion. And hopefully they drop the Universal thing. They just call him the WWE Champion going forward. And then I think we'll probably get something that leads up to Roman versus Rock next year. We'll probably have him on the Raw after Mania, build that matchup. But those are my WrestleMania predictions. My first YouTube video. I do plan on trying to post here more often as I get more equipment. Because right now I am filming this off my iPhone. I do plan on doing maybe some NFL draft content. Do plan on doing some gaming reviews. Don't know if I ever do like some gameplay. Maybe I will once I get the PC going and everything. But hopefully you guys like this video. Don't want to sound so cliche, but like, comment, subscribe, whatever. But yeah, everyone have a good WrestleMania weekend. And let's hope we're not pissed off again.